Hey warriors, there's a quiet deception shaping your life every single day, and most people never realize it's happening. You carry a voice inside you, soft, polite, obedient, constantly whispering that you should keep the peace, avoid conflict, stay agreeable, and make everyone happy. You've spent years believing that voice was protecting you, helping you fit in, keeping you good. But it isn't protecting you. It's draining you. It has been feeding on your fear and shaping your behavior since childhood. Right now, as you watch this, that same voice might be telling you to ignore what you're hearing. This sounds harsh. I don't need this. I'm already okay. But deep down, a different part of you knows better. You're exhausted from swallowing your feelings. Exhausted from saying yes when every part of you wants to say no. Exhausted from watching others take space while you shrink yourself to avoid upsetting anyone. Exhausted from being treated like you're optional. Think about it. Last week someone took credit for your work, and you stayed silent. A few days ago someone canceled on you again, and you pretended it was no big deal. Not because you're weak, but because you've been conditioned, trained to be agreeable, trained to be harmless, trained to be easy. But today, that ends. You're about to learn 10 brutal lessons that will rip out the obedient version of you and replace that weakness with power, real power. Not the kind found in motivational cliches, but the kind thinkers like Machiavelli understood centuries ago. The kind of power that changes the way people look at you, talk to you, and treat you. This won't be comfortable. Some people won't make it past the third lesson. It's easier to stay harmless than to confront the truth of why others walk over you. But if you stay, if you listen to all 10 lessons, you will not leave as the same person who started this video. You'll move differently. You'll speak differently. You'll command a kind of quiet respect that cannot be faked. Because here's the reality, being overly nice doesn't make you noble. It makes you prey. So here's what I want from you, watch this entire video with your full attention. Don't scroll. Don't multitask. Somewhere inside these lessons is the piece you've been missing, the reason your voice gets ignored, the reason you feel powerless, the reason respect always goes to someone else. If you're still here, it means you're ready for the truth. Before we begin, drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose power. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Society's conditioning is a hidden system of control. Think back to when you were a child. You were taught to share your toys, to stay quiet, to wait patiently, to ask permission before doing anything you wanted. You believed adults were teaching you how to be good, but that wasn't the real lesson. What they were teaching you was how to be controlled. Every don't talk back trained you to swallow your voice. Every be nice programmed you to ignore your instincts. Every wait your turn conditioned you to accept being second, third, or last. And the worst part? It worked. You grew up physically, but that early training stayed inside you. You still hesitate to speak when someone interrupts you. You still force yourself to be polite to people who don't deserve it. You still give credit away, time away, attention away, because you were rewarded for obedience, not courage. And the world around you exploits that conditioning perfectly. Watch any meeting. The person who dominates the room isn't the one who's polite, it's the one who takes the floor without asking. Watch a negotiation. The winner isn't the fairest person, it's the one who pushes hardest and cares least about being liked. Watch any situation where power is on the line. Those who were never conditioned to be nice move freely, while the people trained to be harmless get trampled. You've seen this in your own life. Someone cut you off in traffic this morning. They didn't hesitate for a second. Someone at work claimed credit for something you did because they knew you wouldn't make noise. Someone close to you keeps canceling plans at the last minute because they know you'll always say, "It's okay." It's not that they're better than you. They're simply not trapped in the cage you're still carrying. Think about yesterday. How many times did you stay silent when something bothered you? How many times did you force yourself to tolerate what you hated? How many times did you agree just to keep the peace? Every time you did, that childhood conditioning tugged on the leash. But now you see the pattern. Now you see the cage. And once you see the cage, you can't pretend it isn't there. This is the first step to breaking the people-pleaser inside you. Recognize that being nice wasn't your personality. It was your training. Lesson 10: Fear is the real foundation of respect. This final lesson is the most uncomfortable and the most true. Affection doesn't create respect. Fear does. Not fear of violence. Not fear of being hurt. But fear of losing your respect, your presence, your approval. Think about the people in your life who actually change their behavior when you speak. The ones who put in effort, choose their words carefully, and treat your time seriously. They're not doing it just because they like you. They're doing it because they don't want to let you down. That is the real engine of respect. People don't adjust themselves for someone who approves of everything. They don't change for the overly nice person. They don't take seriously the one who has no boundaries. But when someone knows you'll call them out, when they know you won't tolerate disrespect, when they know you'll walk away rather than beg for loyalty, your presence gains weight. The truth is simple. Influence comes from standards. Respect comes from consequences. People follow those they fear disappointing more than those they merely enjoy. Look at any powerful leader, truly powerful. They create pressure. They enforce expectations. They are willing to be disliked if it means maintaining integrity. Respect isn't born from warmth. It's born from unmistakable seriousness. When people realize that losing access to you is a real possibility, they rise to meet your level. So stop trying to win everyone over. Stop softening your boundaries. Stop accommodating everyone's comfort. Raise your standards. Hold people accountable. Walk away from anyone who refuses to meet the bar. Let the fear of losing you reshape the world around you. Lesson 2: Humans are naturally selfish and secretly competitive. Here's a truth most people can't face: the people closest to you are not always cheering for you. They might smile when you win, they might type congrats, they might say they're proud of you, but if you pay attention, their eyes tell a different story. There's always a tiny flicker, a quick shift, a moment of tension before they put on the supportive act. That flicker is their real reaction. It's envy. It's insecurity. It's the quiet thought, why them and not me? And it's not just them. It's human nature. We all feel it. Thousands of years of survival rewired us to compare, to compete, to want what someone else has. The ones who weren't selfish didn't make it. The ones who did, did. So don't fool yourself. The coworker who smiled at you in the hallway? She's the same person who went behind your back and told your boss you weren't pulling your weight. The relative who lectures you at family dinners? He's also the one telling others about your failures with a little too much enthusiasm. The friend who forgot to include you in the group outing? They didn't forget. They just didn't want to deal with your presence outshining theirs. This isn't negativity. This is reality. And once you accept this reality, everything becomes easier. You stop feeling shocked when someone betrays you. You stop oversharing with people who secretly hope you don't succeed. You stop trusting words and start watching actions. You stop giving your plans to people whose jealousy makes them quietly root for your downfall. Most importantly, you stop taking any of it personally. Because none of this is about your worth. It's about their insecurities. Your success is a mirror that shows them what they're not doing. Your wins remind them of their failures. Your growth threatens the comfort of their stagnation. Once you understand this, you operate differently. You move silently. You reveal things only when they're undeniable. You don't seek applause. You don't expect loyalty you haven't tested. You let people show you who they are, and you believe it. The world is ruled by people who understand human nature. The ones who don't are always blindsided. Lesson 3: Nice people get used, honest people get respected. Let's do a quick test. Think about someone in your life you genuinely respect, not someone you simply like, but someone whose voice carries weight. Got them in mind? Now ask yourself, are they nice? Probably not. They may be fair, they may be direct, they may be trustworthy, but they're not the type who bends over backwards to keep everyone comfortable. Because the truth is simple. People don't respect the agreeable. People respect the honest. Your overly nice friend who agrees with everything you say, you enjoy their company, but you don't take their words seriously. The person who tells you the truth, even when it stings, that's the one you remember. That's the one whose feedback changes you. That's the one you respect. Nice people are useful. Honest people are valued. Look around you. Who gets overloaded with work? The nice one who can't say no. Who gets ignored in meetings? The nice one who waits patiently for a turn that never comes. Who gets their ideas stolen? The one who doesn't want to start drama. Meanwhile, who gets heard? Who gets promoted? Who gets taken seriously? The person who sets boundaries. The person who interrupts when interrupted. The person who says, "That's not my responsibility," without flinching. Not because they're harsh, but because they refuse to be used. Being nice worked when you were small, when approval made adults stop yelling and gave you a gold star. But you're not a child anymore. In the real world, excessive niceness is interpreted as weakness. Honesty, especially uncomfortable honesty, is what builds real authority. When you tell your boss their idea won't work, they might not like hearing it, but they'll remember you're someone who speaks truth. When you call out a friend for selfish behavior, they may react defensively, but deep down, they know you're someone who respects them enough to be real. The world doesn't need more agreeable people. The world needs more courageous people who can say what others are afraid to say. Stop minimizing your words. Stop padding your sentences with maybe, just, and I think. Say what's true. Say it clearly. Let the consequences unfold. Honesty is the currency of respect. And it's time you started using it. Lesson 4: The need for approval is the real prison. Your biggest cage isn't your environment, your job, or your situation. Your real prison is your addiction to being liked. Every time you adjust your words based on who's listening, you give away a piece of yourself. Every time you agree to something you dread just to keep someone happy, you trade your freedom for their comfort. And every time you suppress your truth to avoid conflict, you shrink yourself a little more. Approval is a chain, and you've been dragging it for years. Think about your typical day. How much of it is truly your choice? You laugh at jokes you hate. You wear things you don't like because they're appropriate. You accept plans you have zero interest in. You stay silent when someone crosses your line. All because you're terrified of being judged, misunderstood, or disliked. But here's the reality nobody tells you. The more you try to please everyone, the less you recognize yourself. Over time, you become a reflection of what others want, not who you really are. You become a performer instead of a person. You become a shapeshifter who bends for approval but breaks inside. And one day, you wake up feeling empty because you've never actually lived for yourself. Real freedom begins when you stop needing applause. Real freedom begins when you say the truth, even if your voice shakes. Real freedom begins when you choose authenticity over acceptance. But authenticity comes with a price. Some people won't like the real you. Some will leave. Some will get angry. Some will say you've changed. Let them. Anyone who abandons you the moment you stop overgiving was never loyal to you. They were loyal to the version of you that served them. Losing people who only loved your compliance is not loss. It's cleansing. Ask yourself, if you didn't care about a single opinion, what would your life look like today? That answer is your real identity, the one you've been suffocating to keep others comfortable. It's time to stop betraying yourself for approval. It's time to stop sacrificing your voice to be liked. It's time to choose yourself. Write it in comments. I am free. Lesson 5: Dominance comes from comfort with discomfort. Watch any group of people closely and you'll notice something interesting. The person who truly leads is rarely the one talking the loudest. It's the one who controls the energy of the room. Dominance isn't about aggression. It isn't about being rude. It's about being unmoved. The dominant one is the person who doesn't rush to fill silence, who doesn't laugh nervously at bad jokes, who doesn't bend themselves to make everyone else feel at ease. They hold their ground. They let tension sit. They allow awkward moments to breathe instead of rescuing people from them. And that makes others bend around them. Most people are terrified of awkwardness. A joke falls flat, they force a laugh. The conversation dies, they scramble to revive it. Someone else looks uncomfortable, they instantly try to fix it. But that's not kindness. That's lack of self-control disguised as politeness. Powerful people let things be uncomfortable. They don't chase approval. They don't manage the emotional atmosphere. They let people feel whatever they feel. And people instinctively respect that. Think about a meeting where someone shares a terrible idea. The agreeable person nods politely and moves on. The dominant person says, "That's not going to work," and explains why, straightforward, unapologetic, calm. Who earns respect? The one who says the truth without fear. Or imagine you're at dinner. A sensitive topic comes up and the table grows tense. The nice person switches subjects to smooth things over. The dominant person stays grounded, looks around the table, and doesn't flinch. Who sets the tone? Who becomes the gravitational center of the room? The one who is comfortable with discomfort. When you stop rescuing others from awkwardness, something shifts. People watch you to know how to react. People adjust their behavior to match your energy. People seek your approval instead of you seeking theirs. That's what real presence looks like. That's what quiet power feels like. Stop being the emotional buffer for everyone around you. Stop trying to make every moment smooth. Let silence sit. Let tension exist. Let people adjust to you. That's dominance. Lesson 6. Frame control is the source of psychological authority. Most people walk into every situation with the same submissive question in their mind. How do I fit in here? That question alone puts them at the bottom of the power hierarchy. Powerful people ask something entirely different. How do I make this situation align with my standards? That shift is called frame control. Your frame is the mental lens you operate from, your values, your boundaries, your interpretation of events. In every interaction, two frames collide. One person's reality ultimately becomes the dominant one, and the other adjusts. That's why some people can walk into a room and suddenly everyone else seems to orbit around them. Their frame is stronger. Here's what weak frame looks like. Someone tries to guilt trip you for saying no. You immediately explain yourself, apologize, soften your tone. You surrender your reality to theirs. Here's what strong frame looks like. They try to guilt trip you, and you simply repeat your no without justification. You stand firm. You make them adapt to your reality. Weak frame. Someone shows up late, and you pretend it's fine while secretly feeling disrespected. Strong frame. You calmly tell them it's unacceptable, and if it keeps happening, you simply stop waiting around for them. Weak frame. Someone drags you into gossip, drama, or pointless conversations. Strong frame. You disengage instantly because those things don't exist in your reality. Frame control has 3 core rules. 1. State reality without apology. Don't cushion truth. Don't dilute your standards with softness. Say what is real. 2. Stop managing other people's emotions. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their guilt is not your burden. Their feelings are theirs, not yours. 3. Make people enter your reality. Don't laugh at unfunny jokes. Don't respond to things you find pointless. Don't act interested in things that bore you. Your silence alone can reset the dynamic. When your frame stays solid, people naturally begin adjusting to you. They start waiting for your reactions. They seek your approval before speaking or acting. They shift their tone, their posture, even their behavior around you, because humans instinctively follow the strongest frame in the room. You stop being another presence. You become the reference point. Stop squeezing yourself into other people's realities. Make them step into yours. Drop this affirmation in comments. I set the frame. Lesson 7. The strong don't seek approval. Power and approval seeking cannot exist in the same person. One destroys the other. People who constantly look for validation, was that okay? Do you like this? Did I do it right? Hand their power over to everyone around them. The moment you need someone else's approval, that person owns a piece of you. They control how you feel, how you act, and how you see yourself. It's the same dynamic as a puppy looking up at its owner, waiting for a good job. But you aren't meant to be a puppy. You're meant to be a wolf. Strong people validate themselves. They decide their worth. They determine what's good, what's right, and what matters. And then they act according to their own standards, not someone else's applause. Approval seeking turns you into a follower. Self-validation makes you a force. Look at people who carry real presence. They don't chase compliments. They don't celebrate tiny achievements like they've won the world. They don't need their decisions approved by the crowd. They move with certainty because their compass comes from within. Strong people also handle problems differently. Where approval seekers avoid conflict, strong people walk straight toward it. If something needs to be addressed, they deal with it directly, not with hints, not with passive-aggressive signals, not with quiet resentment. They say what needs to be said, fix what needs fixing, and move on. Strong people also set their value unapologetically. They don't ask for permission to be treated well. They state their worth and expect others to meet it. If someone can't, they walk away without guilt. And here's the beautiful twist. The moment you stop needing approval, people begin craving yours. When you stop chasing validation, others start chasing it from you. Your self-respect becomes magnetic. Your independence becomes desirable. Your certainty becomes powerful. So stop asking if you're good enough. Stop waiting for permission to feel worthy. Stop shrinking yourself to win meaningless approval. Decide you're enough and carry yourself like it. Lesson 8. People don't want fairness, they want advantage. Here's a truth most people never admit out loud. When someone complains about your boundaries, they aren't upset because you're being unfair. They're upset because they can't use you anymore. People get comfortable with what they can take from you. And when you stop allowing it, they don't suddenly become ethical, they become angry. Your friend who says, "You've changed," after you stop lending them money? They don't miss the old you. They miss the free cash. The coworker who says, "You're not being a team player," when you stop doing their workload? They don't care about teamwork. They care about having someone to dump their responsibilities on. The family member who accuses you of being cold when you stop hosting every gathering? They don't miss the warmth of your home. They miss the convenience of your effort. People don't crave justice. They crave advantage. They want more than they give. They want access without effort. They want benefits without responsibility. When you finally draw a line, you expose their real intentions. And here's the trick. They won't blame themselves for taking too much. They'll blame you for stopping them. You used to be so helpful. Translation: I used to be able to drain you. You're not fun anymore. Translation: you don't let me waste your time anymore. You've become selfish. Translation: I can't exploit you the way I used to. Don't fall for the guilt. Don't bend because someone is offended by your self-respect. Don't apologize for protecting your energy. The moment you stop being easily accessible, takers will scream the loudest, but real people, healthy people, strong people will respect the boundaries you set. Your job is simple. Hold the line. No explanations. No long speeches. No guilt. If your boundaries upset someone, that tells you exactly who they were in your life. Write this affirmation in the comments. I protect my power. Lesson 9. Withhold approval and become the person others orbit around. Most people hand out praise like it's candy. They compliment everything, agree with everyone, and validate anything. And because their approval is so common, it carries zero weight. But when you make approval rare, when you give it sparingly and only when it's truly deserved, people start valuing it like gold. Humans are wired to crave recognition. But we crave most what we can't easily get. That's why the opinions of the person who rarely compliments us matter more than the non-stop praise of the one who applauds everything. Think of it this way. The friend who says you look great every single day? Their words barely register. But the friend who rarely says anything, when they finally say you look good today, it sticks. You believe it. The boss who praises every tiny effort means nothing. But the leader who only acknowledges exceptional work? People push themselves twice as hard to earn that nod. Scarcity builds value, in money, in time, in attention, and especially in approval. Machiavelli understood this. He knew that withholding what people want forces them to chase it. But there's a cost. People may feel uneasy around you at first. They'll sense that your validation isn't automatic, it must be earned. That tension creates power. Here's how to wield it. Respond on your own timing. Don't jump the moment someone reaches out. Your attention becomes valuable when it isn't always available. Compliment only when it's genuine. Not out of politeness, not out of habit, only when something truly impresses you. Never reward the bare minimum. Effortless work doesn't deserve applause. Set a higher bar. Keep your approval subtle. A small nod or a slight smile carries more weight than exaggerated praise. Do this consistently, and something shifts. People start trying harder around you. They seek your reaction before seeking anyone else's. They adjust their behavior hoping to earn your approval. You didn't command anything. You simply became scarce. And scarcity is power. Stop giving validation away for free. Make others work for it. These 10 lessons exist for one reason. To bury the old people-pleaser you've been carrying for years. Society shaped you into someone easy to control. But now you see the strings. You've learned that people are naturally self-interested. And now you recognize their intentions clearly. You understand why nice people become disposable, while truth-tellers command attention. You've seen how chasing approval destroys your freedom. How dominance comes from comfort with tension. How controlling the frame shifts entire rooms in your direction. How powerful people validate themselves instead of begging for permission. You now know people aren't looking for fairness. They're looking for advantage. And your boundaries remove theirs. You've learned to make your approval scarce and valuable. Because value comes from rarity, not generosity. And finally, you understand the truth most never accept. Respect is born from the fear of disappointing someone whose standards matter. These lessons aren't soft. They're not meant to soothe you. They're meant to reshape you into someone others instinctively take seriously. So from this moment on, you have a choice. Continue living as the person others walk over. Or become the person they instinctively adjust themselves for. The decision is yours. And it starts right now. If this message hit you hard, don't keep it quiet. Like the video so it reaches the people who've been stepped on long enough. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a movement of people who refuse to be controlled. People who reclaim their power. People who walk through life with intention, clarity, and authority. Drop a comment and tell me which lesson shifted your mindset the most. Say it publicly. Declare your transformation. This is only the beginning. Darker truths are coming. Deeper strategies, sharper power. But only if you're ready. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am unstoppable. Now go. Become someone the world cannot ignore.